You can practically see it from here.
What?
Home.
There are 400,000 men trapped in one place, on a beach. Their backs to the sea, the enemy closing in all around them. And it's just a matter of time before they face surrender or annihilation. And the fact that this story does not end in either surrender or annihilation is what makes it one of the greatest stories in human history, and one which I've been wanting to tell for quite some time.
I'm not going back.
There's no hiding from this, son. We have a job to do.
The shots in the film where you see one of the actors in a Spitfire, you know, just beyond them, another Spitfire.
That's the single coolest thing I've ever been involved in, is when you can look over and there is a Spitfire banking around next to you. We're flying over where it happened. I mean, ridiculous. It was absolutely insane.
There's really no way that you could create that in a computer.
That intimate physicality, that tiny cockpit.
He's on me!
To be in there for an hour or two, we really focused on that as being one of the most important aspects of the film. Putting the audience in that scene.
I'm on him.
Which was an extremely difficult thing to do.
You see these, amazing airplanes in beautiful natural light through the canopy of the Spitfire and the other plane in the sky, shot on IMAX entirely in camera. It's not something you've seen before.
This is it.
From a production point of view, it's exhilarating because you're standing there and you're looking at the thing unfold in front of you.
It becomes absolutely part of how your character develops when you're actually in the environment and it's happening to you.
It's very helpful to have a real Spitfire or two and a Messerschmitt and a couple of things fly low over your boat.
One of ours!
And then the force of that engine.
It was just insane to watch these, Spitfires feet above your head. When do you ever get to do that as a human being? And playing those situations, literally all you had to do was watch what was happening.
It's so easy and so pleasurable when there's less to try and imagine.
When you stand on a battleship, which is already crazy, and then a Spitfire goes by you.
The audience will believe. I think they will just know and then they'll feel it.
That's the reality that we want to give the audience so that they can feel that they're there.
Where are we going?
We have to go to Dunkirk.
First 2 weeks of shooting, we had huge storms, and it was wet, it was raining, it was cold, but we were shooting our best material there, We were always struggling with those elements, and the tide would always come in faster than you would think.
Swing of the tide, as indeed in the original events and the story of the film, is a major, major factor because the swing of the tide is colossal at Dunkirk.
Chris and I were like, oh, let's go and shoot, let's go, let's try to shoot in this. It's a very extreme sort of extra element to have with you, and that always takes you by surprise.
We ended up on various occasions coming in the morning and finding that bits of our mole had been washed away overnight.
And we were basically rebuilding the set while we were shooting something else.
That's very much the Nolan way. We're out here and we're out here to work. We're here to sort of live it a bit more.
Being out on the mole when it's windy and rainy and you're kind of getting lashed and battered is quite trying. In a good way, though. It's going to look amazing.
There's no hiding from this, son. We have a job to do.
Knowing that this actually happened to people in real life makes it pretty intense. You're right there with those guys. You're right there with the kids. You ask yourself the question, what would I do?
Films need to tell very essential stories, mythical stories, an essential kind of experience.
through the way that Chris has constructed the screenplay and is directing it, the audience gets a unique perspective that the participants don't have.
The ship's about to leave! To see it on that big screen with a bunch of other people around them, they're going to have a really fantastic experience that they couldn't have anywhere else.
For me, Dunkirk is the ultimate sort of life or death race against time.
Every hour the enemy pushes closer.
That's what the reality of the situation was, and so we've really tried to throw the audience into that with a degree of intensity, with a respect for history, but with a sense of entertainment, with a sense of the blockbuster. We want to give people a really intense ride as they go through it, really put people there and allow them to feel what that experience would have been like.